Good evening. Let me know if you can hear me, and then I'll know the audio's working. Okay, hopefully you can hear me, I don't know, and hopefully you can see me. I'm never confident about this stream thing. Hey, gotcha. Okay, cool. I'm glad. I got a bunch of stuff to talk about this evening as soon as our little tune-ins. I don't know about you. My son and I both like jazz. What can I say? Well, thank you very much for joining me this evening. I do appreciate it. We're going to talk about a few things. I noticed somebody said they wanted to talk about Officer Anderson's firing. We certainly will talk about that. And I've got a list of other stuff. So then I'll get to your comments and happily answer them as quickly as I can. Hopefully I get them all. We'll see. But hang with me and we'll find out. Let's see. Okay, let's talk about... First, about Officer Anderson. The other day I posted this video. I think actually it might have been today. I don't know. They're all running together. But in any case, after I posted the video, I got a lot of comments. He got a lot of support. Wow. I checked his GoFundMe and it went through the ceiling. So that's pretty cool. But I also got folks who said it's a psyop. What are the comments here? Let's see. I got comments saying he's a Freemason. It's a psychological operation, a psyop. It's all a conspiracy. It's not true. And some people complain that he got too much money from GoFundMe. So I'm going to address each and every one of those. As far as the Freemason and psyops thing, the fact is I don't know. I have no idea. If you don't know me, which hopefully you do by now, but if you don't, that's fine. I'll just explain to you. I don't do drama. I'm not a drama queen, drama king, whatever. I don't do drama. I don't like drama. I don't deal with drama. So I like people who say what they mean what they say, and they say it straight to my face. So there you are. I don't take hints well. My wife will tell you that. So if she wants to tell me something, she has to come out and tell me. She can't hint at me. I'm going to take those off because I don't need them anymore. I don't need to listen to the music. She just got to tell me what she's thinking because I just don't take hints well. And so as a result, I don't buy into the Freemason, psyops, conspiracy theory stuff. If you want to buy into that, that's fine. I'm not critical of it. I'm just letting you know that's not my thing. I don't do that on this channel, and I don't even get involved in those. What I did do, though, before I posted the video, is I looked around to see if the guy seemed real to me, and he seemed real to me. One of the things I found, and I put the links in the description of this live stream, is I found this. I thought this was kind of interesting. I'm hoping the stream is working well, by the way. Are you still hearing me okay? We've gotten this... last couple times the stream has been hiccuping. Looks like it's doing okay. Okay. Anyway, I found this story, which I'll share with you, and there is a link in the description. The story is in the Port of Seattle website. It's actually on the portofseattle.org website. And it talks about an event, an issue that happened where law enforcement and fire worked together, and they got in there just at the right place, right time, and helped out. And if you look at the story and scroll down a little bit, you find this, which is a picture of Officer Greg Anderson. I've circled him there for you in yellow. And if you look above where the circle is in yellow, you'll notice that among the people who are listed in the photo and having taken part of this is Officer Greg Anderson from the Port District Police of Seattle. So he is a real guy, unless PsyOps has supplanted somehow and hacked the Port of Seattle website. Additionally, while I don't think that they research it as much as perhaps other agencies might, by the time it ends up in Truth About Guns, somebody has investigated it at least to find out if this guy is a real police officer. And I don't have, I'll be honest with you, I don't have the staff to do that. I don't have the time to do that. So I do what I can on the internet to make sure that stuff is real before I post it. And that's what I've done with this guy. So if he turns out to be a Freemason, I don't care. What do I care about Freemasons one way or the other? It makes no difference to me. If he's part of the Illuminati and you want to tell me about that, I don't even know if they're real. I don't care. If it's a psyops, of course I care, but I doubt it. If he's a cop who's just trying to do the right thing and he's going to get canned as a result, yeah, I do care about that. All right, so anyway, that's all I can say about that. Conspiracy theories, you're welcome to share them. I don't care, but don't expect me to buy into them because it's not my thing. All right, here's the other thing. Too much money on the GoFundMe. All right, I looked on his GoFundMe. It was like $270,000 at the time, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's super incredible. Is that a lot of dough? Yeah. Is that a lot more than I thought he was going to get? Yeah. If that bothers you, here's my suggestion. Don't contribute any money. You don't have, nobody's, as far as I know, nobody's strapped you to a chair and threatened you at gunpoint and twisted your arm to make sure that you stuck it out there at your computer screen and took your credit card and contributed. So it's up to you. You can help him if you want. If you feel like he's gotten enough help and he doesn't need any more, then don't help. That's fine. Or if you lost your job and you need help, then for crying out loud, don't help. That's perfectly fine. That's entirely up to you. You may do as you wish. You're a grown person and you can do whatever you want. My job was simply to share the story with you because I saw a police officer trying to do the right thing who got himself in trouble with his command. Besides which, if this guy's for real, he's a combat veteran. Well, I think we should take care of our veterans, and certainly we ought to take care of cops who are more concerned about our liberties than they are their job. And that this gentleman seems to fall into that category. So there you are. If you agree, great. If you disagree, great. That's fine. You can certainly share in the comments. That's fine. We're going to talk about comments here in a minute, so I will share a little bit about that. All right. Previous to that, I shared a podcast that we did. We did a lot of audio podcasts at SHOT Show this year because what we did is we set up in the press room at SHOT Show and we had people come to us after 12 years of doing SHOT Show and finding that I needed to run all over the place to interview people. I found that it was just easier to do it that way, and actually it worked out really, really well. Now, the gentleman that you see in the picture with my son and I, obviously my son's the big guy with the beard, is a gentleman from Opticsplanet. His name is Cal Leibowitz, and Cal is, without a doubt, a terrific guy. We look forward to seeing him every year. Well, in the process of the interview, I spoke well about Opticsplanet because I personally have not had any issues with Opticsplanet, just so that you know. Now, part of that is because they send me stuff because they want me to review it, but at the same time, I've simply gone on the website and ordered things without letting Cal know I was doing it, without asking for a discount or anything else, and those things have always showed up within a reasonable time, and I haven't had any problems with them. And if I had a problem with an item, I call them back and they got it resolved. Now, that's been my experience. That's just my experience. A lot of folks, and in fact, I would say the majority of the comments on the video were very negative, and people expressing the fact that they'd had a very negative experience. The website had shown things that were supposedly in stock and turned out not to be. Some folks commented that that it was too expensive, their prices were too high. A lot of folks commented about negatively about their customer service or lack thereof, and items they're still waiting to get, and so on. Okay, I get it. I totally get it. If a company treated me that way, I probably wouldn't buy from them either, and I wouldn't say anything nice about them. But here's what I will say to you. That is your experience, and you are welcome to share it. Don't ask me to commiserate with you and share a similar experience, because I can't. I haven't had that experience. The experience I've had with Opticsplanet has been very good. So personally, I will continue to do business with them because at this point, the experience I've had has been good. If it ever comes out a different way, then I won't. Now, so that you do know, I did contact Cal, and I let him know about the body of negative comments that were coming in, and he did send that information to his bosses at Opticsplanet, so hopefully that will get things to change a little bit for you. I hope. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to cover that with you. A couple more items. I recently posted a video of me working out, which is embarrassingly awful. I get it, and it's because I'm an old guy. And in that video was my Jeep. This is my Jeep, and I've gotten about 37 million questions about this little old Jeep. All right, so I'm going to answer them here. This is a 1953 Willys CJ3B. They call it a high hood because a CJ3A has a low hood, like the old Army Jeeps. And I believe that 1953 was the first year that they made these. The reason why the hood is a little higher is because the engine is a little bigger. It was an opportunity for Willys to present a Jeep with a little bit more horsepower than the older ones. So this one has a whopping 72 horsepower. Isn't that amazing? A model, it's 134 cubic inches, 72 horsepower at like 3,500 or 4,000 RPMs, not a whole lot. And it's called an it's a four-cylinder, I forget what they call it. But anyway, it's an F-head, four-cylinder F-head, and it's still got the original engine in it. So that's my little Willys Jeep. Somebody asked me, what do you do with that? I drive it. Not as a daily driver, but in the past we've taken it out and gone four-wheel driving and so on. Now it needs a lot of work at present, so I've got it parked because it's something I want to work on. And one of my goals with that, since I've had it for a long time, is to completely restore it because it's a project. I like projects I like, not projects I don't like, and Lord knows I got a lot of both. So there you are. All right, next question here. If you don't mind me answering questions for you, I want to clear them all up as best I can. The chicken. All right, so here you go. A lot of people ask me about the chicken because periodically they'll see a chicken walking around in one of my videos that I happen to be shooting in the backyard. This is the chicken that generally you see walking around. This is Tiny, is her name. She is a black bantam. She's the oldest chicken we've had. She's lasted longer than any other chicken. I don't know why. And as chickens go, she's pretty smart. I realize I'm grading on a curve here. They don't call them chicken brain for nothing, but she is fairly smart. She does not sleep in a chicken coop. She used to years ago, but she stopped doing it, and she just wanted to sleep in the avocado tree. So she gets up in the avocado tree in the top, and that's where Tiny sleeps. So she's quite the personality, and she hangs around with our dog Charlie, and they, oddly enough, get along very well. In fact, she no longer wants to eat the chicken feed. Now she wants to eat Charlie's food. Don't ask me why. She's been doing that for the longest time. So that's the chicken that oftentimes is roaming around because she's a crazy chicken, and her name is Tiny. So now you know something about the chicken. Let's see, what else was I got? There's comments about the chicken. Oh, all right. Okay, so let me deal with comments, because a lot of people complain about comments. I've been getting this a lot lately where people have been saying, you deleted my comment, blah, 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 blah. And I get the whole thing about their comment getting deleted. All right, here's the deal with comments on GunGuyTV, so that you know. It doesn't matter to me whether you agree with me or not. It doesn't matter to me whether your opinion is positive or negative. None of that matters to me. You're welcome to share your opinion, whatever it may be, even if it's about a conspiracy theory that I don't care about. That's fine. I don't care. Here's what I do care about. This show is a family-friendly show, which means I want people... First of all, I don't swear. I'm a Bible-thumping Christian man, and I'm what you call a God-fearing man, and I don't swear. So I don't swear on the show, and I don't allow people to swear on the show. Now, there are a lot of folks who come on here... Well, not a lot, but there are several folks who come on here as guests who swear regularly in their lives. Now, there's some folks that don't, and there's some folks that do. Well, I don't stand in criticism of that one way or the other, but I do tell each and every one of them, do not swear on my show. I don't allow it. So during the interview, if it's not something you would have said to my little old Italian grandmother, don't say it on my show. And you wouldn't have said it to my little Italian grandmother. She may have been 4'10", but she'd have grabbed you by the ear and slapped you upside your head. So she's dead now. She'd be 100 some odd years old. But that's my rule. If you wouldn't say it to my grandmother, don't say it on this show. And they don't. They honor that, and that's very positive. So when it comes to comments, I don't want foul language in the comments, because if someone is watching my videos with their children or whatever, and then they scroll down and find nothing but F-bombs and swear words in the comments, that's essentially foul language on my show. So I don't allow it. YouTube, in particular, provides a filter that goes through those and finds those automatically. So if you swear or you try to get cute and put in funny characters, it'll catch 99% of those and delete the comment. That's how it works. Or set it aside for me to hit delete and delete them if I want to review them or whatever. Now, some of those I catch on my own because somebody got cute with weird characters because they thought they'd get away with it. And if I happen to see it when I'm scanning through comments periodically, then I will copy and paste that into the filter, and it adds it. The next time you do it, it'll catch it and delete it. That's what's deleting your comments. So those are the comments that get deleted automatically. There are some comments that get deleted by me. So let me give you an example. I am a person who feels that we need to treat each other with respect, and we should do that. I like to treat people with respect. As a younger man, I'm not a young man anymore, but as a younger man, I had a bit of a temper about such things, and if you walked up and insulted me, I'd knock you out. I've knocked out a few people doing that, okay? If you insulted my wife, I'd knock you out. And when you woke up and spit the teeth out of your mouth, you would learn never to insult my wife again. Now, I've tried not to be that guy anymore in my old age, but nevertheless, if you came into my house and spoke to me in an insulting fashion, the way sometimes people speak to me on YouTube because they can safely do it from behind their keyboard, I would throw you out of my house and you would never be allowed here again. If you walked into my office, which we do have an office over in Mission Valley, if you walked into my office and behaved that way, we would throw you out of the office. And if you would refuse to leave, I'd call the police because you're trespassing. 602 PC. Right? So in this, I consider this show to be like my home or my office. If you're a visitor to the show, I expect you to behave yourself. Don't insult the other visitors. There's no reason to do that. We don't need to insult one another or swear at one another. And certainly don't insult the guy who owns the show, because that'll get you deleted. So if you've done any of those things, swear words, coarse language, offensive language, sexual innuendos, I don't leave those there for the same reason, because I have people who watch this with their kids. Or you've been insulting to me. Now, that's not disagreeing with me. You're welcome to do. But calling me names, being insulting, that's not welcome here. And if that's what you want to do, please go someplace else. This is not the channel for you. I feel the same way when you're insulting other commenters. It's okay to disagree, but if you're calling other commenters names or you're insulting them, those are guests in my house. Those are guests at my show. Don't insult my guests. You won't be a guest anymore. I'll delete your comments, or I'll mark you so that you can type all you want to, but nobody will ever read your comment. So if you're upset, and this is you, because comments got deleted, well, now you know why they got deleted. I do not delete comments simply because I disagree with them. This is a world in which we get to agree to disagree sometimes, and a healthy discussion, in my mind, is a good thing. All right, is anybody still with me, or have I run everybody off? Looks like there's still some folks get with me. I'm glad. Now, I'm going to look real quick, and I'm going to ask you to comment, please. Is the stream hiccuping, or are you able to see it? I think I got that resolved, but I'm not sure. So I'll watch the comments, and then you let me know. I'm honed in on the comments here. Let me know if the stream is hiccuping or if it's working out well. I hope so. I have thick skin. Oh, somebody said, what happened to your thick skin? Oh, I have a very thick skin. But generally, if you insulted my wife or, insult my kids or whatever, that you hope you have a really thick nose, because I'd end up breaking it. Is it? Okay. It doesn't sound like it. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, it seems like it's working. Thank you very much. All right, if it's not, please let me know. All right, last thing, Patreon. I've recently got a number of complaints from people because I only publish, as a general rule, the first half of my audio podcast free, and then the second half is for people on Patreon. Okay, well, there's a reason why I do that. People on Patreon, I don't have a lot of Patreon patrons, but I have a number, and they're contributing their hard-earned money to help the channel stay going. I feel it's incumbent upon me to do something special for them. So I do a video podcast twice a month for them. I do the second half of the audio podcast for them. I post, as I would on an Instagram, for example, pictures of what I happen to be doing or what's going on with my, in my life or what I'm working on, and I give them advance notice about reviews and that kind of stuff. That's what I do on Patreon for Patreon patrons. If that bothers you, that I'm providing additional content to someone who's actually contributing money to the show, I have to wonder about that, because that doesn't seem, the fact that bothers you kind of bothers me. So I would say, look, please understand that I feel it's incumbent upon me to do something nice and extra for folks who are helping out this show financially. So that's the reason why I do that. All right, now, on to a couple of other subjects. So now that we've taken care of all of that, is everybody still with me? Oh, good. Okay. And I'll look at comments. Oh, my gosh, there's a lot of them. So I'll look at those here in just a minute. Okay. There's a few things you want to be aware of. First of all, Rick Travis did a video, I think today, on the CRPA YouTube channel. You might want to go look at it. He covered a couple of things. One thing he covered was the fact that apparently the California legislature has blocked lobbyists from entering the legislature. So they ignore you and me, and then when we want to send somebody who is lobbying on our behalf, they've kept them out with COVID-19 being the excuse. We don't want you in here. You could infect us all. Well, I might understand that if it wasn't for the fact that they have opened the legislature to the general public and including homeless people to sit up in the gallery and watch the whole proceedings, but they won't let the lobbyist in who's representing you. So I find that that's ridiculous. So I wanted to make you aware of it. You might want to contact your state senator or state assembly member and politely but firmly give them your opinion about that. All right, there's the other thing is they've got a new bill, AB 2847. That's AB 2847. And that covers the microstamping thing, or it switches the microstamping thing around. I didn't quite get all of it, but let me give you the gist that I got. And that is that if someone comes up with a gun that has the little microstamp thing on the firing pin, and they submit it, and it gets approved for the California handgun roster, then every time that happens, this new bill allows the legislature to then go look at the list of the old guns on the roster and delete 3. So for every new gun that comes on the roster with microstamping, they get to take 3 away. Well, it won't be long before there aren't any. That's AB 2847. We get to fight that one tooth and nail. So I'm making sure you're aware of that. I urge you, check out the CRPA YouTube channel. I think I put it in the description so that you can get that straight from Rick. And then I'll have Rick or Sam Perez, one of the two of them, or maybe Chuck Michelle on the show here pretty soon, and we can talk about that more. All right, that's all the news I had that's fit to print. I'll go through your comments here real quick and answer any questions I have. Oh, by the way, I also got to think of you missed my comment. You didn't read my comment, and you didn't answer my comment on the last live stream. Okay, forgive me. I'm here by myself. There's one of me. Get a grip. I try to get them all, and once in a while I miss one. It's not intentional. Okay, I sure would like to discuss the firing of Officer Anderson. I think I just did that, but if you want to discuss it more, let me know, Chris. I'll just type in another comment, and if you have a question about it, I'll try to answer it. I don't know the guy. I don't know the man, so I only know what I see, and I did check to see if he was legitimate, and it seems like he is. Live in Oregon, where the AR-15 still looks like one. Yeah, that's true. Well, not for at least for now, Jeff. You're right. Jeff Jones typed that. Let's see. And they're going back and forth. Let's see here. Good evening. Good evening to you. Your clock is wrong. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. I've never been able to tell time anyway. I'm half Italian. It's called Italian time. It's always late. I don't know if it was right earlier or late or what. They can hear me okay. You're good to go. It's going to be a lively chat tonight. I hope so. We'll see how that works. Let's see. You like the classy music. Okay, I'm great. Okay, let me tell you a little something about music. This is music, this is production music that I pay for, by the way. And the reason why I did that, I was going to do I did Frank Sinatra one time. Everybody loved it. The problem is that YouTube grabbed it and went, hey, that belongs to somebody else. And any revenue that video ever generated then gets sucked out and sent to the owner of the music for Frank Sinatra. Now, I don't have a problem with that. I just didn't know about it. So now I don't. I only play music that I own, or that I have a license to. And I do have a license to that song and some others. So you'll hear them rotate around, but they won't be anything that probably you recognize. All right, let's see. You like the lounge music. It was a sort of lounge lizard music. You're right. Let's see. I can't hear you asking me if I can hear you. I got it. I love it. That's hilarious. You want to talk about ammo. Okay, ammo is still sitting in the court. And that's what happened with Judge Benitez, still sitting with the Ninth Circuit. No answers yet, as far as I know. All right, Officer Anderson, this is Jay Driver. Officer Anderson GoFundMe is up to $280,000 and was started yesterday. Hope he gets so much support. He takes the governor's position when he goes. Yeah, that would be nice. I read from the GoFundMe. I just looked at it, I don't know, an hour ago maybe. I read from that apparently the purpose from it initially was to help him pay for a lawsuit to get representation with to fight for his job. And then also, in case he lost his job, to cover some of his bills and help him out. So that would seem to be plenty. But I got to be honest with you, legal representation is super, super pricey. So I don't know. But I would think so. But again, like I said, if you want to contribute more, go ahead. If you don't, I get it. Hello from behind enemy lines somewhere in the USA. Now, I'm behind enemy lines. I'm in the People's Socialist Republic of California. Every time I leave the state, I got to sneak under the razor wire and away from the guard towers to do it. So stupid, not a PSYOP. I know, but I get it all the time. This J Driver again. PSYOP, maybe, somebody says. Okay, I get it. Let's see, the jazz is groovy. People get jealous. I thought, Chris A says Anderson made some very fine points in his first video, and I agree, he really did. He made some great ones in the second one. Pete E, thank you very much for the $5. That is Pete Elmore. Pete, why are you... Okay, I owe you lunch. Pete's a friend of mine. He did a super chat for $5. That's hilarious. I owe you a cup of coffee, Pete. Apparently, you've seen Pete on the show. That's Pete E is Pete Elmore. That's the guy from the show. It's funny that he does super chat. Let's see. Can hear perfectly? 5x5. Okay, a lot of responses from there. I buy them. Okay. Let's see. I'm looking for questions, so forgive me. Just take me a second. I'll try to. And you guys, chat amongst yourselves if you want to. That's fine. Greetings from Los Angeles. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Some great restaurants in Los Angeles that I like a lot. Los Angeles in general drives me crazy because so many people, and I'm not a people person. I like to be by myself and up in the mountains and hunting or whatever. The Illuminati are real. Okay, I didn't know that. But they're actually just a secretive group of candle makers. Okay. That's Judo 463, I assume is how you say that. Joel wants, what's your opinion on the Assembly's new handgun roster bill? Scott Leeper, I assume that's what you're talking about is the one I mentioned, which is AB 2847, and I shared with you what I know, which is very darn little. I would check out, first of all, my opinion of anything they do other than making the roster go away is that it's nonsense. So unless they're making the roster go away, it's terrible and we got to fight it. That's my opinion. But you'll get more, I think, from CRPA, and then I will talk to Rick in the next couple days and see if I can get him on the show maybe next week to give us some more information about that. That entire situation is a bunch of, I can't say that, but you're right. Let's see. Cal is hilarious. Cal from Opticsplanet is hilarious. I love Cal. He's a great guy and he's a good friend. And I don't know what's going on with Opticsplanet, but Cal himself is a straight shooter and a really good guy, and I like him. Good times in Ocotillo Wells. Were you out there shooting? I hope there's an area out there where you can shoot, which is really awesome. Teach Tiny to bark. The chicken. He might. You never know. Let's see, who commented that? That's Chris A again. All right. Your show, your rules. Well, that's true. Yeah. I just try not to be rude about it. You're right. I make the rules, but I really try not to be rude about it if I can possibly help. But I try not to be rude to people. I've always tried to treat people with respect. Like I said, when I was a younger guy, I was a little hot-tempered about it. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you love me, but you treat me with respect or I'll hit you. Well, I'm not that way anymore, but I used to be, and I've tried to learn as a Christian that's not a good thing for me to do, so I try not to do that. Although I have to admit, a few years back, a guy, he got sideways. He was in the process of causing harm to my wife in a way that my wife had asked him nicely to step away, and he wouldn't do it, and I went after the guy. But that was not too long ago, but I try not to do that if I can help it. I'm telling stories. I shouldn't be telling stories. Let's see. You're good. Let's see. I'm here in Maryland. Is that right? Thank you very much. That's really nice. You're up late. Boy, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not boring you to death just looking through these comments. I probably am, and I apologize for that. Greg Anderson. Okay, wait a minute. Somebody chimped in here. Have you ever tried cloning yourself? No, but I would love to. I'd send that one to work, and I would do nothing. And then I'd send that one. If I could clone myself and send the other one to go lift weights and I'd get the benefit, that'd be great. The older I was lifting today. I went on a long hike today, and then I lifted today, and I did not have a strong day. I had a very weak day. And I told my son, I said, I've discovered that I probably should not do the cardio first. And he said, I could have told you that. So tomorrow I will lift first and then go for a hike, not the other way around. Love the paint can art. You like that? That's actually, so that you know, that's actually not real. I put those up for you to make it more interesting. You can see That's just a photography background. People ask me about those all the time. So those are not real. It's just more entertaining than what my office actually looks like. So hopefully that's a little inside information for you. I'm actually getting ready to order a couple more because the ones I have are getting old and people have seen them all the time. So I got a couple others I want to order. Let's see. Being a fairly new gun owner and supporter of multiple gun rights organizations, I would like to ask, would you make a video to reach out to the influx of new gun owners to join the fight? And that's Gordon. Well, absolutely, Gordon, yes. I have done that on videos and with interviews with Sam Paredes from Gun Owners of California, who's a great guy, by the way, and Rick Travis with California Rifle and Pistol Association, and recently with a video that I did as an interview with Chuck Michelle, who's the attorney for the California Rifle and Pistol Association, also does some work with the NRA, and he's the volunteer president for CRPA. But I certainly will make a video just for that, and I'll do it just for you. It might take me a few days, but I will absolutely do that because we welcome to the world of gun owners and to the shooting sports. Hopefully you find that going to the range is as much fun as I find it to be. Let's see. No, it's not a green screen. Pete. No, it's not a green screen. Pete's been here. He knows. He's been to my house. It's not a green screen. It's a background, photography background. You can order them and buy them, and you just put them up on stands behind you, and that's why it looks as cool as it does. Green screens always have a weird kind of aura around you unless you have really big money and a lot of really powerful computer to do that. If you're just doing it on a computer like I've got, which is a really good computer, but it's not nearly that good. Let's see, I can't wait to see what Supreme Court does with the gun rosters. Well, I'll tell you what, I think that's the big deal right now, is I'm waiting for the Supreme Court. In fact, let me check on the stream here again. It looks like it's doing okay. I'm waiting for the Supreme Court to pick a case. They've got a bunch of them. To pick a case they're actually going to hear and hopefully settle this whole issue about the standard of review. I'm of the opinion, as I said to Chuck Michelle, the standard of review shall not be infringed. To which he said, well, then you have to decide what infringed means. Well, I look it up in the dictionary, and I will just go with the dictionary definition, which means that all gun laws are unconstitutional. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. That is my opinion. For example, I don't have an issue. I know some people may, and that's fine. I actually don't have an issue with people showing up at the Capitol in is it Michigan or wherever and carrying their guns or carrying long guns or whatever. I find it unnecessary. I don't see a logical reason for doing it. I wouldn't personally do it because I carry a gun concealed and I have for 40 some odd years and I don't want to get that much attention. I'm not looking for attention, but I don't have a problem with them doing it. I really don't. And as long as they're law-abiding citizens, what's the difference whether they have a rifle or a handgun or no gun at all? If they're not going to hurt anybody with it and they're law-abiding, what's the difference? There isn't any. So I don't have an issue with that. I know some folks do because they look at it and they find it shocking or frightening, but I don't think it's a big deal personally. George Gamblin did a super chat. Thank you very much for doing that. Okay. People are not that muzzled these days. Doesn't have to be the F word. That's not nice, but calling someone a blank should be allowed. Okay, well, if you call me that, that's not going to go well. But like I said, I think we can disagree. I think we can agree to disagree, and we can be firm, but we can be respectful. And calling each other names is not respectful. So I like to try to be respectful of people. And because this is a family-friendly show, that's what I require in the comments, George. So I appreciate your opinion. And again, here we go. We're gonna agree to disagree. I hope. And your opinion is valid. It's yours. I got it. A lot of folks agree with you. I don't. It's my show. So I have set the rules that I've set. So there you go. You can, but certainly you're welcome to disagree with people and you can be as heated as you want, as long as it doesn't devolve into name calling. That's all I'm trying to get away from. Or swearing for that matter. You were early. I was a little early today because I wanted to make sure it worked. I was a little concerned about that because it blew up in my face the last time. Let's see. Oh, you're from Mira Mesa. How about that? That's cool. That's Singer 45. And oh, by the way, I wanted to go back to George. George, I thank you very much for the super chat, but I try to respond to all questions on this live stream, not just super chats. So please don't ever feel that you have to do a super chat in order to get me to respond to your comment. I'm gonna try to do that The thing is, sometimes I miss them, and it's not intentional. It's just because I'm one guy and I don't have anybody here to do this for me that would say, hey, we got a comment. I'm just trying to do it myself. So forgive me if anybody else for that matter, if you're doing this, you put a comment up and I miss it, then forgive me. I do try to answer all of the questions. Did you end up getting a CNR license to buy ammo? Yes, I did. I don't know if you're asking me that, but I assume you are. Yes, I have a CNR license I've had anyway. I didn't get it necessarily to buy ammo, but I do keep it current. I also have a certificate of eligibility with the state of California because the business we're in requires it. So since I have those two anyway, then I can go buy ammo and I can bring it into the state and I can order it and they'll ship it to me and like that. So yes, I did, and it does work. There are some folks that will not, some companies will not ship anyway because they're so afraid of California, but a lot of them will. Let's see. Somebody posted some information about Greg Anderson. I just talked about that, so I'm not going to go over that again, unless you necessarily want me to. Do you think the gun roster has a strong chance of being heard by the Supreme Court? I don't know. The Supreme Court, from what I can determine just talking to people who deal with the Supreme Court all the time, is very unpredictable, and it goes weird directions. And so just about the time you think you have a handle on what they're thinking, they surprise you. So the answer to your question is, I don't know. I do feel strongly that they're going to pick one of the, or more, of the Second Amendment cases they have queued up. And they're probably going to pick the one that's going to get the result that they want. Because remember, it takes four justices to take a case and 5 justices to win a case. So it only takes 4 to take a case. Well, we have 4 pro-Second Amendment justices on the court. So they're going to pick the one that they think is going to go the direction they want it to go, probably, and they're also going to pick the one that's going to allow them to rule on the particular legal issues that they're most concerned about. Which one that's going to be, I don't know, but I suspect that I hope anyway that we'll have a good result from it. Let's see. Until the government says. You're prohibited until the government says you aren't. Yeah, I don't like the NICS system. I don't like the background check system at all. I know that sounds extreme to a lot of people, but I don't think you should have to have a background check to exercise a constitutional right. Thank you from San Francisco. Hello to you as well. Let's see. Thank you very much. I love the bicep there. I don't have a decent bicep. I'm an old man, but I do love the one that you put there. That's really kind of cool. Although I got to tell you, I saw Lou Ferrigno at SHOT Show, and for a guy his age, he's just a little bit older than me, not much, and he's in really good shape. I didn't go talk to him. I don't know him. I just saw him there, and that was it. But he's in pretty good shape. Of course, he did start out painted green as the Hulk, so maybe that's something to do with it. Thank you for reading my comment. You're absolutely welcome, George, anytime. I'm grateful to have you comment. So you're absolutely welcome to comment anytime. See, I just did it again. A few days ago, the California State Militia was at the state capitol protesting the COVID-19 restrictions. Do you have an opinion on this group? I don't, and the only reason I don't is I don't know anything about them. I can give you a generic opinion about militias if you like. I think militias are fine. If there were one in my area that I felt strongly was really a great group, I might join one myself because it gives you an opportunity to train and practice together, and it gives you an opportunity to ready yourself to help out when help is needed. If you think about a militia the same way you might think about the CERT program, which is the Civilian Emergency Response Team, and that they teach people how to help out in case of an emergency, and it's generally taught by your local fire department, or ARES, A-R-E-S, the Amateur Radio Emergency Service. If you think about a militia that way, a militia is nothing more than a group of honest, law-abiding, armed citizens who are coming together to defend hearth, home, state, city, country. And if that's their goal, hey, I love militias. I think militias are awesome. It's in the Constitution, right there in the Second Amendment. So I don't have any problem with militias in general at all. I think the press has taken the term militia and made it a negative. It's not. Now, certainly there are some groups who are militias who are not necessarily the greatest people in the world, and they don't do things that honest, law-abiding citizens would do. I can't name one because I don't know which ones they are, but certainly they exist, I'm sure, because in any group, in anywhere, you're going to find bad apples and they do bad things. Does that make militias bad? No, I don't have a problem with militias at all. So hopefully that answers your question, Brian. I don't know. I hope it does. Okay, Pete says Roxanne agrees with it. Yeah, well, thank you. Tell Roxanne I said thank you very much. Be an adult when you're talking to someone. That's exactly it. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. George said we'll be looking forward to the video to share. And it will, if you're talking about the video of this, after it takes about, I don't know, 30 minutes or something after we're done for it to actually render and do its thing. Let's see. Judo put $5 in the pot. And again, thank you very much. If you wish to do super chats, I certainly don't turn them down, and I thank you very much. But it isn't necessary, as I said. If you want me to read your comments, I do try to read them all. If I miss one, it's inadvertent. But anyway, he did a super chat here. Thank you very much for doing that. He or she, I don't know. I assume it's he. I shouldn't maybe assume that. Infringed means exactly what it sounds like. Well, I agree with you 100%. I use the abbreviation SNBI, shall not be infringed. Well, you're not going to get an argument out of me. I think infringed means what it means. But you know, one of the things Chuck was talking about is that lawyers do what only lawyers can do, which is parse things into pieces, and that's what he was referring to. If you ask Chuck if infringed in the case of the Second Amendment means what it means, he'll tell you it means what it means. But nevertheless, he's an attorney, and he's got to deal with the court systems. Let's see. Please inform people to be calm and walk away from a heavy altercation before using a weapon. That's Del Pezzo. Okay, I will do that. All right, so first of all, yes, absolutely. You know, many times I've talked in the past about you've heard the old saying that an armed society is a polite society. Most people equate that with criminals knowing that some people might be armed and not knowing who. And so as a result, they tend not to commit crimes because they don't know whether they're going to bump into an armed citizen. And that's true. But the other side of that is that when we're armed, we get to be extra polite because we carry with us the ability to kill. And if we have the ability to use deadly force, then we tend to be more polite. We tend to put up with more aggravation. I carry a gun all the time. So unlike when I was a young man in my 19, 20 years old, if you insulted me and I'd hit you in the face, now you could insult me on the street and I'd let you get away with it because I'm carrying a gun. And the last thing I want to do is shoot anyone. So my job at that point as an armed citizen is to de-escalate the situation. And if that includes walking away, letting someone get away with insulting me in a way that I personally don't like, or trying to simply help them calm down, whatever it takes. I mean, one of the books I really, really encourage people to read, particularly if they're carrying a gun, is George Thompson's Verbal Judo. George was a police officer, and he's passed away, unfortunately, but taught a great class. I've seen it, and it's a bummer he's not around to teach that class anymore. He used to teach it to law enforcement all the time and other folks. But it's a great book as well, is Verbal Judo. So particularly if you're a new gun owner and now you have the ability to exercise deadly force, that's a really good book to read. In fact, if you'd like, what I'll do is I'll put after this renders and becomes a video, if you want to check on it later, I'll put some links to some specific books in there for you that I encourage you to read, that I generally encourage my students to read, and that'll help a lot. And there's actually 2 or 3 of them. So I'll put the links in there, and maybe you can get them on Amazon or half.com or something like that. Ammo can, no, nothing new on the ammo thing. Joseph, I wish there were. Oh, you already heard it. Okay, Frank, great. Let's see what else. Oops, went too far. Please inform people to be calm. I already did that. Joel, I want to take a moment to say thank you for all you do. Well, you're quite welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's from how do you say it? Prusikknot. I apologize. I'm not going to try to pronounce that because I'm going to really mess it up. But thank you very much for your comment. I really do appreciate it. I don't know how, but 3 of my favorite YouTubers all live in San Diego. All live in San Diego. Sam, the cooking guy. Is that right? Mark Dice. I didn't know Mark Dice lived in San Diego. That's neat. And the gun guy. Well, that's me. Yes, that's true. Well, thank you very much. That's very nice of you. By the way, my son Nick, whom you've seen on the show before, is an electrician, but he's now decided he's going to change careers. And this is not the best time probably where this is concerned, but he has wanted to be a chef forever. And that young man can cook. He studies cooking. He loves cooking. He just bought a smoker, and we have certainly enjoyed the results of it. And so that is something he's going to go back to school and pursue. So he just mentioned the cooking guy, which made me think of that. Bad media spin. You're right. Joseph Springer said militia. The word it's bad media spin is all it is. Trump's executive order protecting the power grid. You're asking me, I assume, what I think about that. Well, as an InfraGard member and a guy that's, I've attended an awful lot of meetings about the power grid, I guess you could say, and with InfraGard, the power grid is a big deal, and protecting it has been overdue. Our power grid is not well protected at all. It could go down at any time. It's a house of cards, and something like a solar flare or what they call a coronal mass ejection or an EMP caused by a device that's set off in the atmosphere, any of those things could possibly do a lot of damage to our power grid and really help shut down, if not the whole country, a good-sized section of it. So that's a big danger. So I'm very grateful that Trump wrote that order. I haven't read the order, but if it does what I think it does, then yeah, I think that's awesome. This is one of the reasons why in my family we have a generator and fuel set aside and a solar generator and like that, because the power grid is sketchy as far as its capability to stay up if something like that happens. Lead on the range bill. Yeah, it's California, I know. That we have the bill. I don't think it's become law yet. I haven't checked. That's my suspicion, is it hasn't become law yet. Let's hope it doesn't, because I think it died in committee before the last legislative session. And now they supposedly, the legislature in California said they came back just to deal with COVID-19 stuff. Yeah, And the first thing they come up with is this AB 2847 with the whole microstamping and taking guns off the roster thing. So I wouldn't believe a word they say. They lie like a Bigelow rug. Thank you very much, Ancient One. He says, God bless this man and his channel. Thank you. Hello to North Carolina. What a beautiful part of the country. I love that state. North Carolina is beautiful. The Carolinas are phenomenal places to live. They really, really are. Pleasure to finally catch your live stream. Well, I'm grateful. Thank you, sir. Have you, let's see, has the term militia in the second month, say, wait a minute. Whoops, I lost it. It scrolled away, and I may run out of time before I can get all of these. I apologize. Has the term militia in the 2A outlived its usefulness? No. No, I don't think so. No. I think it was when it was confused by people that are anti-gunners to say that the only people that could have a gun were people that are members of a militia. Well, maybe. But have militias outlived their usefulness? No. No, I don't believe so. I mean, if you think about it, the National Guard is a militia of sorts. And actually, there is a government militia in California, and I believe it's actually run by the state of California. So if you look it up, you'll find them, and there's actually a militia there. Now, there are individual other militias as well. But when you consider the fact that the reason for the Second Amendment really is so that citizens can, if God forbid it's ever necessary, but citizens can resist a tyrannical government with force, because that's precisely what our founders had to do. And they understood that. They understood what tyranny was, and they wanted to make sure that the people who followed them in this country never faced that again. So they gave us the ability to have a Second Amendment for the purpose of defending ourselves against tyranny. Well, if you're going to defend yourself against tyranny and you think you're going to do it all by yourself, that's not going to work. Look, I've had a lot of firearms training because I'm a law enforcement firearms instructor. So I've been through a lot of training, and I can tell you that you can have a lot of individual training, for example, and you can learn how to do things as an individual. You're a concealed carrier and you stumbled in a bad way. You stumbled into something, or it found you. You tried your best to avoid it, but now you're faced with a criminal or a set of criminals. How do you deal with that? That's different than how do you work as part of a team of other people defending yourself against a team of other people. That's a whole different thing. And if you ever want to find out what that's like, go play a game of paintball against SEALs. I did. We lasted about 2 minutes and they killed us all. Okay? So militias give you an opportunity to learn those team concepts and begin to work as a team. And each team member has a different job. So now you got a guy that's in charge of being a medic. You got a guy that's in charge of the heavy weapon. You got a guy, you see what I mean? So now you start to function as a team. So are militias outmoded? I don't think so. That's my opinion. Feel free to disagree with me. Do I know anything about Remington Defense? No, I don't, and I apologize. It's a division of Remington, and I don't. I'm sorry, Jim. I don't know anything about that. Under California law, it's illegal for a paramilitary organization to train with weapons if it engages in instruction or training in guerrilla warfare or sabotage. Okay. Then don't do it in California. Go to Nevada or Arizona or go where it's legal and train over there and then come back to California. That's easy to do. And then try to get that law changed in California. Do you view, this is from, oh, by the way, who posted that? I'm so sorry. That's Jogar. All right. And this, again, I can't pronounce it, P-R-U-S-I-K-K-N-O-T. Do you view, as some Dems do, I can already answer that question, police and National Guard and or reserves as militia? No. National Guard, technically, yes, but no. Our founders were not fond of standing armies or standing military. That's one of the reasons they wanted militias. They didn't like the idea of standing military because they felt a standing military could be used against the people, which it certainly could. And essentially the National Guard is an extension of the standing military. It's a state-run standing military. So is it a militia in the terms that the founding fathers would consider a militia? No. And as a result, I don't consider it one either, but it kind of is. It's the state militia. But it's a government entity and it's a standing army as a result. It's not something our founders liked. So hopefully that helps. Militias were meant to be groups of citizens who could defend themselves against tyranny and, or for that matter, step up and defend the country if need be. But then the founders also didn't like the idea of us running around the world and fighting all over the world. They wanted us to defend our own borders and our own country, which is something our current president is getting back to and pulling us back from all this stuff going on all over the world, whether you agree with that or not. Can you explain a bit of what is needed if moving to California with guns? The DOJ website differs. Well, okay. When you're dealing with the California Department of Justice Firearms Division, just consider that you're dealing with the Firearms Division of the Department of Motor Vehicles. So if you've ever been to the DMV, you know what you're dealing with. It can be a good experience or a bad experience, and most of the time it's a bad one. But this is from Brian Faust. Okay, when coming to California, this is my understanding. Now, keep in mind, I've lived in California most of my life, so I've never had to move here and bring guns with me. So this is my understanding, and that is if you bring firearms into the state of California, that under state law, within a period of time, I think it's 30 days, I could be wrong, but any gun shop will be able to tell you, you are supposed to notify the state, there's a form you fill out, notify the state that you brought those guns into California and exactly what they are and all the details about them. And essentially what you've just done is register all your guns. All right. Now, Brian, as a practical matter, do people do that? No. Some do, but I would suggest that my guess is, this is just a guess, my guess is that it's the few that do. And the reason it's the few that do is in large part, it's not because people are trying to violate the law, it's because they don't know they're supposed to do that. And it's because when you go on the DOJ website, it's extraordinarily confusing. But that is my understanding. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, if you're carrying a gun because you have a permit in another state and you want to come into California and carry it, you should be aware of the fact that California does not honor a carry permit from any other state. So don't carry it in California. If you're transporting it in California and you don't have a permit to carry it, then it has to be unloaded in a locked container separate from the ammunition. And the ammunition, typically, they want in a locked container too, if I remember right. I don't think I've ever done that. My understanding is, again, now don't take this as legal advice because I'm neither an attorney nor an expert in California law. And I have a concealed carry permit, so I don't do this unless it's a rifle or something. If it's in a trunk, you have a car with a trunk and you put it in the trunk is considered a locked container. But again, it cannot be loaded. It has to be totally separate from the ammunition and inaccessible to you. If it's accessible to you, like if I'm driving it in my pickup and it's in the front, it's got to be locked because it's accessible to me. And the ammo's got to be locked too. That's my understanding. If somebody else, if you're watching this and you know differently or better or whatever, please chime in. But that is my understanding. I'm in Illinois. We have a corrupt governor. Boy, do you ever. And judiciary. Boy, do you ever. And Joseph Springer, I get it. We're in a similar situation just west of you. What is our alternative if we no longer have representation? Is there something the feds can do to keep the lawlessness in check? Yes. And it is in the federal lawsuits that are sitting in front of the Supreme Court. Because what will happen is if, and I hope it's not an if, I hope it's a when, If the Supreme Court rules as we hope they will, and as many people I've spoken to think they might, and that is to give very specific instruction to the lower courts as to the level of the standard of review they have to use when looking at Second Amendment cases, so that they can't just go, oh, the government says this is okay, we'll agree with the government. Instead, it has to be, it's a very strict look at it to make sure it's not offending the right in some fashion. If they do that, then every state will be able to go back and, gun owners in every state will be able to go back and sue to remove those laws, and the court will have to look at them anew based upon the instructions, the specific instructions from the Supreme Court. Are you going to be able to do anything with the people that represent you in your state? No, if they suck, they suck. Replace them. But people say that about California all the time, but there's so many gun owners who are asleep and don't do anything or don't take part that it's very difficult to do. Or they're gun owners, but they're not single issue voters. Something else is more important to them. And so they bag their rights to get whatever is over here, whatever that may be. And so, you're facing the same problem in Illinois that we've got here. My hope is in the court system now that President Trump has appointed 280 some odd conservative federal justices to the federal bench. And we have a little bit of a majority on the Supreme Court. And the Ninth Circuit Court has changed dramatically, and not quite as much as it needs to, but it has changed dramatically. Original intent of the militia was any able-bodied man. That is true. It was any able-bodied man above a certain age, yeah. But I would say, if anything, in today's verbiage, we might say any able-bodied person, because some women would like to participate in that too. The world has changed, and society's changed with it. Ship to an FFL or send in registration from form only. No, I don't know, Brian, to be honest with you. I really don't know. Is that okay? I don't know. But I'll tell you, if you call CRPA, the California Rifle and Pistol Association, or Gun Owners of California, they'll be able to tell you, because they know, and I might show you wrong. I don't want to do that. How am I doing on time here? I'm running out of time, so I'm going to try to get the rest. I may not. If I don't, please forgive me. I'll try to get them next time. In my mind, a militia group is a group of citizens coming together to form a needed force to protect and defend themselves. That is different than a standing. Yes, I agree. I agree with you 100%. You are exactly right, in my opinion. That is exactly right. And that's why militias should never be banned and ought to continue. And frankly, as I said, if I could find a good one where I could get some training and I could participate and help as a ham radio operator, and as a guy has a little bit of medical training, and as a firearms instructor and like that, I could help and train and like that, and I would do it. But I haven't run into one. So if you know of a good one, you can reach out to me. Please do. Let's see. I don't know anything about mountaineering. I'm sorry. I used to do some rock climbing when I was a young man in high school, but that was almost 50 years ago. So I can't tell you. I'm sorry. Let's see. Hi from New Orleans. Hi to you too. Thank you very much, Scott. Are thermal scopes legal in California? Yes, as far as I know. If you're talking about FLIRs and other infrared scopes or optics, as far as I know, yes, they are legal. So is night vision, as far as I know. And so is body armor, for that matter. I have body armor. I don't have night vision or thermal optics, but as far as I know, I can. That's a good question. Call a retailer and ask them. They'll be able to tell you, because they know whether they can ship it to you or not. Let's see. Some state, by the way, with regard to the optics, a lot of times you don't get the latest generation of them. Night vision's like that, because that's reserved for military and law enforcement. But you'll get a generation behind, or right around in there. Hunting with them may not be legal in California, but owning them, possessing them, I think is fine. But again, like I said, I'm not an attorney, so don't take that as legal advice. I'm just giving you my understanding. Boy, excuse me. Some state constitutions include the right to bear arms. That is true. California, as far as I know, does not. But I could be wrong. I don't think it does. And I scrolled too fast. I apologize. Here we go. Is this live? Yes, it is live. Let's see. Am I live? Yes. As far as I can tell, I am live. I am. And that's Kathleen Music Lover. I did it. How about that? Let's see. This is live. When moving to California, it won't be live later, it'll be recorded. And then when you ask me that question, people will think it's live because I'm hitting myself in the head. When moving to California, hide them, somebody said. Okay. In other words, a gun needs to be completely useless in order to bring it into the country. That's exactly right. Yes, it does. Build an 80%, do not attempt to register. Okay, that is just so that you know. If I'm not going to say whether you should do it or not, but building 80% firearms in California without applying a serial number that's given to you by DOJ, California DOJ, and registering them is illegal. Didn't used to be, but it is now. So just be aware of that. What you do is what you do. I'm not advising you to do it or not do it or whatever. I'm just letting you know. As a YouTuber, I cannot say go do that, but I can say it is illegal, and that way you know. What is your opinion on Front Sight Training Facility in Nevada? I have been to Front Sight many times. I've also been to a lot of other places. Here's the deal with Front Sight. First of all, their training, every time I've ever gone, their training has been outstanding. So there you go. It's a little quirky in the sense that the way you end up going, because you can generally find someone who's a member like me, and they'll have memberships they can sell or give away, and you can buy a membership for $100 or something. It's like a life membership. Every time I go, I order my ammunition and I buy it from them because I want them to have the revenue to keep the place going. They have a ton of people that come. Here's the difference that I've seen between Front Sight and places like Gun Sight, the Sig Sauer Academy, and places like that. I've not been to all of these places, so some of the places I list, I've never been to Thunder Ranch, for example. But I understand from people who have gone that these are all amazing places to go. Front Sight is very family oriented. So their whole thing is they want you to bring your family, your kids, whatever. In fact, when you first sit at the orientation, somebody will get up there and ask you not to tell off-color jokes in the hearing of all the other students, or not to swear or whatever. If you're going to do that, please step away and do it someplace else, because that's not appropriate at Front Sight. It's a family-friendly venue. So you get everybody, everything from soup to nuts. You'll get military members who are coming for additional training. I've shot with a lot of them there. You'll get police officers. You'll get trainers and educators like me. You'll get all kinds of people there who can really shoot. And then you'll get the people who just bought a gun, who are brand new gun owners, and they'll come for the first time. I have watched the Front Sight instructors in 4 days, in a 4-day class, take people who have never fired their gun before and get them to the point that they're drawing and putting 2 rounds center mass and 1 to the head with reasonable speed and great accuracy, and do that within 4 days. Now, it's a lot of dry practice because they got to be safe until they get to that point. It's a ton of dry practice. But the fact that they can get somebody to that point in 4 days is amazing to me. So if you now, here's the negatives. They will drive you nuts on the phone and email you to death. So if you get a membership from Front Sight, make sure you give them a dummy email address they send all their emails to, and call their office and instruct them never to call you by phone. And then if you want to go look for specials, you can do it, and that's fine, because their marketing will drive you crazy. I've never met the guy that owns it, Dr. Piazza or Piazzi, whatever his name is. Never met the guy. I don't know. But I have been there many times. I'm actually planning on going again probably later this year, and I do go to other places as well. So there you go. There's Front Sight. I hope that helps. I have always found their training to be outstanding. And I do like the family-oriented aspect of it. Thank you, Joel, for your channel. Do you know anything about if a friend that is a LEO, law enforcement officer, recently buys an AR pistol and wants to gift it to me, is there a waiting period, or can they do it anytime? Well, Joey, I don't know. This is Joey Mont. I don't know if you're in California or not. If you're in California, I do not believe that he can transfer an AR pistol to you. If it's an AR pistol that's semi-automatic, it needed to have been registered as an assault weapon before the deadline, if it's in California. If it's not, then it's not legal to make one, buy one, transfer one, or import one, as far as I am aware, unless it's made totally semi-automatic, and I'm not even sure you can do that making them. I know that Franklin Armory makes one you can buy that way, but as far as I know, that's the only one that's approved for sale in the state of California. So I would be very leery of doing that, because and really check. Again, call CRPA or Gun Owners of California and ask them for their advice, particularly CRPA, because they have Chuck Michelle there as the president. He's an attorney, and make sure that that's legal, because you may be putting not only yourself in jeopardy of having committed a crime, but you could put your law enforcement friend's career in jeopardy. If you're in another state, then whatever your state laws are going to apply to that. I don't know what they are. So you'd have to check with somebody in that state. Ammo does not need to be in a spare. Okay, thank you. Joe Gar said it doesn't need to be in a separate locked container. It just has to be, just can't be attached to the firearm when you're transporting in California. So a loaded mag separate from the firearm, but in the same locked container would be legal. Okay, thank you. I didn't know that. So that's clarification from Joe Gar. So essentially, you got to have the gun in a locked container. The ammo just can't be connected to it. You could have the ammo in a locked container too, in the same container or separately. It doesn't necessarily have to be locked up. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Daily Shooter did an episode reading. I haven't talked to Matthew in a while. Daily Shooter did an episode reading the law and says there's nothing requiring ammo be separated from weapons. Okay, we just did that. Thank you, Al. He would. There you go. So Matthew knew and I didn't. What do I know? It depends on where you live. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Don't forget to slap the... Okay, got it. Have I shot a Ruger PC-9? Yes, my wife has a Ruger PC-9. I did a review on it. So if you want to go look at it, you're talking about the little carbine. Yeah, there's a video on it. In fact, there might be a couple. I love that thing. She loves that thing. Great gun. Agencies couldn't have constitutional training. They don't know what the Constitution... Yeah, they should have constitutional training. They don't. And no cop should put... This is other people. Aloha. Thank you from Hawaii. I appreciate that. Nebraska, you guys have it in your Constitution, the right to keep and bear arms. Let's see. Sorry, that wasn't a question. It was an explanation of how my handle... Oh, I see. Okay, I got it. Okay, thank you very much. It's Prusik not. Did I do it right? I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I hope so. If I didn't, please, I apologize. Thank you again for your hard work. You're welcome. Do not waste your money on front sight. Okay, Chris, I'll try not to do that. I'm being funny. I've actually been to front sight many, many times. People say that all the time. I've been there many times. Gun sight is also awesome. Yes, it is. And boy, you can go there, and they are awesome as well. So is Thunder Ranch. I have not been there. Sig Sauer Academy is awesome. Academy right here in San Diego in South Bay is amazing. Actually, the guy who, I don't know if he's still there, who was for many, many years the director of training there, is a student of mine. I think he's still working there. I have to ask him. And that's fine, Chris. If you don't like front sight, that's fine. Involved in Scientology. I heard that. That's another conspiracy theory thing. As far as I know, that's absolutely nonsense. I've been there many, many times. I've never heard anybody mention Scientology while I was there. I've never had it come up, never had it mentioned, never heard anybody talk about it. And I've been there more times than I care to count. So, Joe, that is, as far as I know, that's nonsense. So I understand that you heard that. I'm just sharing with you that that's a rumor that was started somewhere along the line. Now, I don't know if the owner's into Scientology. I have no idea. But he doesn't. But nobody there speaks about it. If you're that creeped out about it, don't watch Tom Cruise films, because as far as I know, he's into Scientology. Don't watch movies with John Travolta, because he's into Scientology. A lot of these people are into that. It is a creepy cult. I agree with you, but nevertheless, let's see. Is this a blue screen, Robert Hubbard? No, it is not. This is a background, just a photography background. It's a printed background. Looks like broken windows, too. It is like broken windows, but it's just a background. Let's see. Are fin grips easy to install? Are they easy to take off? Yes, you can order them. Solar Tactical makes them. They kind of are proud of them. They charge quite a bit, but they do make them well, and they'll make them to your grip. So if you have a custom grip you like, you can send them the grip, and they'll make it and customize it before you send it back. They did that with one of mine. And yeah, it's two little screws. You take them off when you leave the state, put it back on when you're back. That's it. It's easy peasy. Do you ever come out to Camp Perry? I have not been to Camp Perry in 30 years. Would love to go. It's just time, space, and place. And I can't shoot well enough to ever be in a competition. I just like to watch. Thank you very much. I do hit something every time I press the trigger. Sometimes it's just a berm, but I do hit something. That's how, hey, I did it. That's how it's pronounced. Thank you. Okay, what do you think of the Talon Grips? I have not tried them, so I don't know. What do you think of the Olight products? I have a flashlight from them, I think, in this drawer. Yes, I do. No, that is not. I'm sorry, that's somebody else's flashlight. So I don't know. It seems to me they sent me one, and it was pretty good, but I can't say, to be honest with you. I apologize. I thought I knew, and I don't. Okay. What are your thoughts on HMR 17? Never got involved in that particular caliber, so I don't know. Hey, Joel, shout out from Kearney Mesa. Thank you very much, sir. A fellow San Diegan, another gun owner in San Diego. That's Eskimo S. There's two of us. I have a feeling there's a lot more than that. Let's see. A17 Semiana Strike Industries makes a great fun grip. Okay, there you go. Thank you, sir. As always, enjoyable. Finn, Minnesota to California, where we are with you. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that because we're staying here and we're fighting the fight. And I am officially over time. I apologize. Thank you very much. I did get through all the comments. Whew. I'm kind of amazed, actually, so that was kind of cool. All right, I want to encourage you again, if you're in California, check out Rick Travis's video he did, I think, today. It's on the CRPA YouTube channel, and you should subscribe over there because oftentimes you're going to get the latest news there before you'll get it here. You know, I realize I'm better looking and much more entertaining than Rick. You can tell him I said that; it'll crack him up. But nevertheless, you'll get the news a little quicker over there than you will here, and then I'll try to get him on to talk about some of that stuff at a later date as well, so we can get into that for you. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you spending time doing this. If you stayed the whole time, wow, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you for all of your support for GunGuyTV. We'll keep it going for you. Have a wonderful week, and wherever you go, whatever you do, please be safe.